After Cai Cai came back dressed, she was wholeheartedly determined to be a movie queen. Who would have thought I would meet 3 bookworms? Dragon Proud Tian. Cai Cai knows that as long as she can block their path to success and fame, people around us won't become cannon fodder. How to block it? Become the greatest movie queen in history. By the way, you should also work hard to pick up Zhang Xianjun. You are the biggest cannon fodder. Zhang Xianjun glanced at her sideways. Have you read the script? Have you memorized the lines? Keywords of the novel. When did I become a movie queen without pop-ups? When did I become a movie queen? Download the full text of the movie queen. When did I become a movie queen? Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. First chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. First chapter. Initial chapter. The filming team of Flying Apsaras at the Hengqin Film and Television Production Base dragged on for 2 years. After 3 female protagonists left and 4 investors withdrew their investment, the film project led by Wanxian Xinhui Film and Television Company finally barely started a few days ago. When Cai Cai signed with Wanxian Xinhui at the age of 10, she got a contract for number 5 supporting role in this play. Now she is 12 years old, and fortunately she has the honor to stand on this set. Today is her first day in the group. Although this is a project for her own company and surrounded by people from the company, the role is still dedicated to her. However, her lifelong wish has finally been fulfilled, and Cai Cai can't help but nervously stomp her feet. Now in the designated spot, Cai Cai needs to walk around to find the best spot. There is natural light during the day, and it is difficult to adjust the lighting without walking. Originally, there was the absolute protagonist of this play, Xianjun, who came to walk with him, but Xianjun, who has always been praised for his dedication, has not come yet. On the field and props side, bring the substitute over and walk with Cai Cai. After spinning in place several times, I finally received a nod from the assistant director and secured Cai Cai's position. Cai Cai stepped on the mark under his feet and stood still, watching as the light came over to dim. Half an hour ago, the natural light in the picture had already turned away, and the lamplighter's face was already filled with cursing words. The key point is that she noticed that all 3 assistant directors were a bit anxious, and several assistants were constantly making phone calls. The director and 2 screenwriters have not appeared yet, and Xianjun has no personal presence. Mei Zhang came over and handed her today's script. Because it is said that the script has been changed again, Cai Cai only knows that this play is still a fairy tale drama, Zhang Xianjun is still the only protagonist, and everything else is still being changed. What Cai Cai received was not the script, but today's shooting plan, but in fact, even this shooting plan was meant to look good when filed and reported, so he definitely wouldn't shoot according to this plan. Cai Cai also has shooting experience. Judging from this dimming, he knows that most of today's filming was for fun, and all of it was scrap footage. Zhang Xianjun is not coming. Cai Cai asked in a low voice. The double brother who had been walking with her for half a day just now turned red with excitement because Xianjun did not come. But if he knew that all the films he filmed today were useless, he would probably blush with excitement. Mei Zhang sighed and said, "The situation has changed. Please calm down and don't make a fuss. Anyway, we won't lose out on anyone." This is clearly a rumor coming to appease Cai Cai. Cai Caiyuan's slippery eyes widened, and Little Demon Star's temper was about to rise. Is it related to me? She was the 5th supporting character here. If it weren't for her background in countless stars and many people supporting her, the assistant director dared to let her walk in the sun all day today. In this play, there are only 5 Emperor of Light and Shadow. If something happens, no one will find her. Mei Zhang saw her like this and knew that the child was restless again. He greeted the assistant director and took her back to their own small lounge. The only underage artist in his family, relying on several big trees, no one dared to mistreat Cai Cai. The rest area is already filled with milk tea. Cai Cai laughed angrily. Her habit of drinking milk tea whenever she is unhappy should be well known now. But this cannot be your tool to imply bad news to me. Shaking away Mei Zhang, don't leave any ink stains, tell me what's going on. He grabbed a cup of milk tea and began to suck wildly. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 300 million. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 2. 300 million. Mei Zhang looked at her, afraid that she would choke, but he still said, there is news that there was another withdrawal of investment yesterday. Now everyone knows that special effects movies are not easy to make, and everyone knows that special effects movies burn money and are prone to producing bad movies. Even if the name Xianjun is in front of her, it is not useful. But today, it is said that there is a big enemy who is investing, but there are conditions. Cai Cai stopped and said, change actors. Xianjun will definitely not be changed. The heroine said she was the leading role, but she came to make a match for Xianjun. The part of the play was not as important as the main supporting role. It was estimated that no one would snatch it. Then there are only a few other outstanding characters left. The core of the story of Proud Tian is the story of a mortal portrayed by the Immortal Lord, who experiences a series of hardships in seeking immortality and ultimately rises to become an immortal. Vulgarity is unbearable. So the main focus of this drama, the gimmick used to attract investment, is the special effects and stunts, as well as Zhang Xianjun wearing the flying costumes in the murals. Zhang Xianjun, nicknamed Xianjun, has an exiled appearance, is obsessed with acting, and has a strong background. Even black fans can only use a lack of down-to-earth attitude to blackmail him. He debuted at the age of 10 and has been around for 12 years. At a young age, he has won countless awards, making him the top performer in the industry. And the darkest black material of Xianjun is to kick the upside-down female artist out of the car. Such a person has relied on stripping and selling meat to attract investment, but I wonder how difficult this drama is to produce. But even if it's so difficult to give birth, we can still start filming. Cai Cai knew that the company had long regretted agreeing to let Xianjun do this project, but who made Xianjun himself one of the shareholders of the company and an extraordinary actor, the company could only acknowledge it with a nose in its mouth. So even if it doesn't start up for 2 years, Cai Cai still has great expectations for this drama. Because the company arranged the 5th supporting role for her, which is the most outstanding one among the outstanding characters. The protagonist's younger sister uses death to motivate the protagonist to go further, and plays a lot with the opponent of the Immortal Lord. No matter whether she can perform well or not, she can be considered as officially debuting on a big screen. Compared to being forced to act as a wedding dress for others, those who want to act but are physically unable to do so, or those who spend their entire lives on the children's stage, this is the first time that Cai Cai has officially become ecstatic and willing to act. It is her first and important step towards the throne of the Best Actress. As a result, I stretched my neck and waited for the result of being replaced. Mei Zhang could tell from Cai Cai's expression that she understood. With quick eyes and quick hands, she held her down as she was about to flee. Be honest with me. You are an artist, and I am a manager. You can only be a good person, and I will make trouble. Moreover, now is a guess. Why are you in such a hurry? Even if you really want to replace you, let alone anything else, the penalty company will definitely not be able to do without you. Besides, even Xianjun is reluctant to give up on this project, and the company can't give you, this big treasure, another benefit. Whoever is in a hurry, they don't have to worry. Cai Cai was not worried about not getting any benefits. 2 years ago, when I signed the contract, I said I wouldn't sign it. Xianjun and I had a grudge, and signing it was a trap. You all called me and insisted that I sign it. I signed it, and I even brought Xianjun tea and pleaded guilty. I had a hot face and a bunch of cold buttocks, and I wasn't even there. Admitting guilt was reasonable, but since then, the bunch of eunuchs around him have consciously looked up to me and have been acting weird in the company all day. I have endured all of this. This is actually not a big deal, Cai Cai just deliberately said it. The key point is, in order to play the role of this sister well, I practicing in the photos and videos of Xianjun for a long time. You don't know how many character scripts I wrote for this character, and you also know. Just for this character, as someone who doesn't like homework, I write character scripts like homework every day, and I play fewer games. Not to mention that my grandparents and aunts love me, but I also love myself. The more you say it, the angrier you get. I've been working so hard. Now tell me what's the point of having nothing to do. They gave 3 billion yuan, Zhang Xianjun pushed the door in. Cai Cai hid behind Mei Zhang like a mouse. Mei Zhang was also startled. You knocked on the door. He and Zhang Xianjun were old acquaintances, and Zhang Xianjun's agent was also a buddy, so he spoke casually to this immortal. Zhang Xianjun has been listening outside for half a day. Why don't the directors and screenwriters come? They don't even want to face this little demon star. He didn't originally want to come, but after answering several phone calls from the company, he had to come too. Comforting children. Haha. Zhang Xianjun sneered inwardly and pulled a chair to sit down, sending Cai Cai's assistant out. I still feel sorry for you. You almost tricked me into being a human trafficker and ruined me. With just one apology, you ran away without me. You begged me to apologize, and even offered tea to apologize and spread the blame all over me. My new outfit is Gao Ding, and you didn't pay any compensation. Give my team a nickname and call them eunuchs and fodder.in.law. They were so angry that they said a few words behind their backs, and you were so aggrieved that you sued the company. If you don't do your homework and pay someone to do it, the school will hire parents. You tricked your uncle into going to school, causing him to be smashed in the face by black powder throwing tomatoes. Oh, what else is there to it? I always say I'm a good kid and don't even use my phone, but the broken game consoles stack up higher than me. I've written a lot of character scripts and added some scenes for myself. Do you still want to threaten the director to become a drama king in the future? You're quite hardworking. In order to play the role of my younger sister well, you shot darts with my photos and used me to practice crying scenes, causing me to cry countless times. Cai Cai crouched behind Mei Zhang, huddled together. But Zhang Xianjun still didn't let her go. If you haven't earned a penny for the company yet, you can use public funds to reimburse your game console. If you can earn 300 million for the company now, I won't change your role. Upon hearing this, Cai Cai's forehead exploded and he stood up suddenly. I can't earn 300 million now, but I'm sure I can earn countless 300 million in the future. Why should I be replaced without hesitation? How do you know we didn't hesitate? Zhang Xianjun was too lazy to talk nonsense to her. The penalty will be transferred to your card as soon as possible, so buy a new game console. If you don't make a fuss, I will help you apply for more penalty. If you make a fuss, I will transfer this money to your family. After glancing at Mei Zhang, he stood up and left. Cai Cai almost killed Zhang Xianjun at the beginning. Even though she always walked sideways, she felt guilty and hesitant towards him. She dared not speak or stop him before he could speak clearly. I can only push Mei Zhang hard and make her catch up quickly. This character is gone, is there another one to fill in? Otherwise, she will really make a scene. Mei Zhang is definitely going to pursue her, as Zhang Xianjun hinted. Tell Cai Cai to stay here obediently and not make any noise, and then chase after her. Cai Cai saw through the crack in the door that not only Zhang Xianjun had arrived, but also the director, screenwriter, and producer. Approaching the door and turning around, Cai Cai saw someone surrounded her, someone who instantly made her hair stand on end. Entertainment industry article, reality to Mary Sue. But I am an unemployed and useless person, everything is just fabricated. Don't take it seriously, just look happy. Don't just sit on the same page in reality and make up everything blindly. Remember, make it up. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Old Hatred. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 3 Old Hatred. You're really haunted. Cai Cai patted his heart and came back to sit down. If this person wants to grab her role, she won't be puzzled at all. I won't feel angry either. This person loves to snatch things from others. Especially her things. It's not just about grabbing something to eat, that it must be delicious. Cai Cai's delicate little eyebrows furrowed, and then a faint sneer appeared, the ghost of forsakes. Lippy ghost. Cowards. Go eat shit. I grabbed another cup of milk tea to drink, and the assistant came in and took away the other milk teas. Girl, Ms. Fong said she won't let you drink too much, bad teeth, and told Cai Cai, the director said when the one outside leaves, you'll go find him. Upon hearing this, Cai Cai's temper rose. Why wait for her to leave? I'm going out now. The assistant reached out and didn't dare to stop her, falling behind and following her. Arya came over today specifically to meet Cai Cai. It can be implied that even after half a day, countless starry people did not let Cai Cai come out. When she had exhausted her patience and was preparing to leave, she did not expect Cai Cai to run out on his own. Oh, it's you, long time no see, really long no see. We can also be considered friends in need. Have you regained your memory? As soon as I heard that you have also become a child star, I really wanted to see you. Arya sat still and shook her upper body, warmly greeting Cai Cai. Cai Cai blinked in confusion, looked up and down at Arya, and said awkwardly, well, who are you? Do you know me? Arya really thought that Cai Cai had forgotten about herself, feeling contemptuous in her heart and a gentle expression on her face. You really hit your brain, and amnesia is really not easy to cure. I don't know if it will make your memory worse. I am Arya, the one who was rescued with you back then. We fell down the cliff together. Have you forgotten? Cai Cai ignored Mei Zhang's glare and looked at Arya as if unable to remember. I hit my head, not my head, right. You were also in that human trafficker's car. I remember it was my grandmother and I who fell down the cliff together. Arya's face stiffened slightly for a moment, but soon became gentle as before. That was later, it was me and you who fell together. Cai Cai thought for a moment and looked at Arya seriously again. With me. I remember a human trafficker driving in a car accident. He died and almost dropped the whole car off a cliff. I was fine originally, but there was a silly guy who was about to fall out of the car and pulled me down. Then the silly guy took off my clothes as a rope and threw me off and ran away. It was my grandmother who saved me, holding me and waiting for the rescue team. I even told the police uncle about this, and he said he had already criticized and educated the foolish guy. Ask Arya, if you also fell with me, you must know who this silly guy is, right? You tell me, the police uncle won't tell me. I've been looking for this silly guy for so many years. Mainly, do you know that I have amnesia? If you could use the clothes on me at that time, maybe you could help me recover my memory. Unfortunately, my clothes were destroyed by the silly guy, and I don't know if there's anything inside my clothes. Arya's face flushed with anger. I don't know if it's because she ran away with her tongue and couldn't say a word. Even the ignorant onlookers could tell that half of this silly guy was Arya. What a big melon. Sorry, we have other things to attend to here, so let's not delay. Several members of Arya's team stood up to protect her and greeted the director, screenwriter, and producer before quickly leaving. Before Arya could even figure out how to pick up Cai Cai, she was swept away. Cai Cai aimed at the back of this group of people and let out a strong moan, the ghost of the lost. If it weren't for facing my own face, I would curse even harder. Zhang Xianjun pulled her back and said, Renjia is now the biological daughter of the movie queen, and behind her lies the enormous energy of her former stepfather, Emperor Cai, and his family. His biological father used to be a great director, so can you just endure it for now? Now, Renjia can find 2 people to invest 300 million yuan with her, not the poor child star Moon Yen Yen from the past. Don't speak so directly. If she really wants to compete with you, you won't be able to get into this drama. He also knew about what happened back then because of Cai Cai. Arya did not do it right. At this moment, there were other times. Renjia now has money and power, but he can seize the role. If he can't bear it now, what will he do in the future? Are you really being bullied for a lifetime? Cai Cai shook off his hand and glared at him. If you don't go up, then don't go up. I almost died in her hands back then, and now I haven't given her a brick. It's all because of my aunt's kindness. You can distinguish good from evil for the sake of 300 million yuan, and you're not a good person. I cheated on you because I was wrong, but I sincerely apologize. I have always been angry with you, and if you still feel that I owe you something, I can't give you my life. You want me to endure her and dream of his grandmother. Cai Cai. Mei Zhang came over and stood between her and Zhang Xianjun. Zhang Xianjun laughed angrily. He has to give up this play for the sake of these 300 million yuan. If it weren't for Cai Cai, how could he stay here? As a result, kindness became the liver and lungs of a donkey, and the little demon star not only did not appreciate it, but also resented him. Even if he is blind, he cannot help people like Arya. Oh, he's really blind, that's why he stayed here for a little demon star who knows right from wrong. Pushing away Mei Zhang, Zhang Xianjun walked away with a cold face and didn't even glance at a folding table that had been overturned. The producer nodded at Cai Cai, stomped his feet, and quickly chased after him. The director was also a bit dumbfounded and didn't understand how to do it well, so it became like this. You scold Arya, don't scold Xianjun himself. Cai Cai was being pulled by Mei Zhang, feeling aggrieved. His eyes were red, and his heart was sore, choking up. He's still angry. Why is he angry? I'm not angry yet. He's still angry. I was the one who almost got killed, and I was the one who was robbed of the role. I have to endure it. The person who was blocked by enemies to show off is also me. It's all me. What did I say about me? He's still angry at me for the past 2 years, isn't he good enough for him? I always want to leave him some soup when I eat meat. He actually faces outsiders, not me. He doesn't face me, he's angry. He didn't even turn to me, how dare he get angry, little ancestor, if Xianjun doesn't turn to you, he won't even want this play. The director pulled Cai Cai back to the break and found a tissue to wipe Cai's tears. Don't cry, you're such a little ancestor, sighed the screenwriter. On the first day of your class with me, what did I tell you then? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Changing Corners. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Changing Corners. Cai Cai sniffed and said, if you're in this circle and want to have a scene, you need to be prepared to eat shit. The difference is whether you're sitting and eating with a golden spoon or lying on the ground and licking. Such disgusting words, she couldn't forget them. Mei Zhang quickly added, there are even countless people trapped in this circle who want to eat shit, but can't even eat it. Those who want to eat hot food are all lucky. Cai Cai said, you rely on the company, and the entire artist department is just you, a big baby. In the past 2 years, you've been piling up resources to support you, trying not to let you eat shit, and then you're gone, right? Do you really think it's your own ability? You dare to shout at Xianjun, I see you're looking for another beating. With a sigh, he patiently reasoned with Cai Cai, hello, think about it. You don't know how difficult it is to do this play. Because it's a special effects movie that burns a lot of money, you didn't shoot anything. The company invested 100 million yuan, all of it was wasted, and you couldn't even hear a sound. It seems that even if Xianjun sells meat, the project is about to miscarry. At this point, there's a silly guy holding 3 billion yuan, and he wants a 5th character. Are you the company? Which side do you choose? Is it you or 3 billion yuan? Moreover, how could the Immortal Lord not turn to you? The director then said, silly buy invested 300 million yuan, originally not for a fifth-tier supporting role. Let's not say if there was any disgust towards you, they just saw that this was a character specially created by the company and Xianjun to take you on. They also saw this point and took this character away. Xianjun and the company are reflecting on this point, and leaking information makes you feel wronged. You shouldn't be so eager for quick success and instant benefits to be exposed so early. Therefore, Xianjun plans to open another project and take you there. Cai Cai's eyes widened. But the company has really invested a lot in this movie, and even if you make a profit, you won't be willing to accept it. There have been rumors both inside and outside the industry that if Xianjun doesn't finish it, he may not be able to get blacklisted. After multiple considerations, Xianjun stayed and decided to finish the movie first. When he was ready, he would go for a special performance and not be the main character. However, this would put you in an awkward position. This is your first official work or a big screen, and it's not a good idea to give someone a dowry. After discussing with the company, Xianjun decided to continue playing the main character, rewrite the script, and add more scenes for you. Speaking of which, the directors are a bit sour. Is Xianjun too biased towards his own children? As for Arya, didn't she want to hype up with Xianjun? Xianjun decided to fulfill her and wrote her the character of White Moonlight. After the movie was released, Shueijun would write a communication between Xianjun and White Moonlight. At that time, Xianjun's girlfriend fans would be able to bury Arya at sea with just one mouthful of foam each. Even the future black hands have been calculated, how can this be towards outsiders? Cai Cai was stunned for a moment. He took out Mei Zhang's phone and called Zhang Xianjun directly. It took him a long time to connect and said, I'm sorry, I'll give you my life. You can do whatever you want. Breaking the child. Zhang Xianjun chuckled twice and hung up the phone directly. This time he didn't calm down so easily. If it weren't for valuing Cai Cai's acting talent and wanting to raise her for the company to make a profit and even act for himself, why would he be fooling this little demon all day? The already weak idea of getting married and having children has been worn down by this little demon star, leaving no residue left. The new script is still being written, and it should be released tomorrow. Don't leave either. When the script is released tomorrow, I will shoot your play first. The director instructed Cai Cai, thinking of another key point. Absolutely not to let Cai Cai and Arya meet. Pulling the screenwriter and leaving, Cai Cai and Arya absolutely cannot have a single scene. Mei Zhang glared at Cai Cai, took her back to her residence, and then called the Cai family to complain. Little demon star has a situation all day. Cai Cai was scolded by his grandmother and aunt for a long time, but the next day he came back full of energy. She can be considered half the protagonist now. Adding scenes. How can we not work hard? The script produced by two screenwriters who stayed up late and worked hard is indeed very interesting. The original core of the story was a cliché tale of mortals transforming into dragons. Now, it is a story of dragons in capital letters, who move towards darkness and destroy the heavens and earth, and are then influenced by the white moonlight to become kind-hearted dragons again. It goes without saying who the white moonlight is. Her character is even more interesting, it's the original protagonist setting. The mortal little girl idolized Long Outyen and achieved immortality through hardships. However, when Long Outyen was about to perish, she sacrificed herself and saved many people. According to the new script, she is another protagonist who shares the same fate as Xianjun, with overlapping storylines that do not affect each other. Cai Cai has read many scripts and has spent her entire life flipping through them in the company, so she was immediately extremely excited. I want to resist the box office. My little face turned red. The director slowed down a step and couldn't cover her mouth. He immediately grinned at Mei Zhang, who had changed his expression to please her. Mei Zhang was so angry that his hands trembled as he pulled away Cai Cai and said, "You guys are such a prank. 300 million yuan and you start to mess things up, right? The reason why this drama can still be started today is because of Xianjun's signature. However, Xianjun was not willing to eat shit and did not play the main role. He deleted his own drama and let Cai Cai take over. This seems to be for Cai Cai, but what is the status of the Immortal Lord? What is Cai Cai's status? If this play goes viral, it will be as difficult for Cai Cai to get involved again. The audience will remember the actors who performed well as the shame of being forced to perform poorly. Once they carry this label, they won't even be able to wash it off. The director's face was bitter, and he was also aggrieved. How much anger he had received, and his heart was also angry. What can I do? Xianjun almost gave up because of these 3 billion yuan. The company finally tried to persuade him, so I had to delete Xianjun's play to protect him. The company couldn't let such a big project go bad. Xianjun wants to mess up, so he always needs to find someone else to take care of it. The fat and water don't flow out to outsiders, so it's not just right to give Cai Cai. Furthermore, this is also Xianjun's belief in Cai Cai's acting ability to do so, and he wants to suppress the silly head and give Cai Cai a breath. Do you think Cai Cai is doing this? Is it easy for Cai to win this role? Don't fart. I see that because of these 300 million yuan, a movie that was not very good is going to be a bad movie, and even Xianjun has invested money, he can't avoid it and changed hands to become a favor. The other people in the company are not fools, and no one is going to make a fuss. You see that our daughter is easy to deceive, so if you push her up, you will not have a good heart. Your conscience is bad for you. Be careful, I tell Song Yun, if you dare to deceive her, you wait for the good fruit to eat. Even if Xianjun really has good intentions, the crew must not have a good heart. At this point, the director was not at all guilty and decided to break the jar. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Too Tender. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Too tender. Anyway, that's how things are. If you can't bear to part with Cai Cai and don't dare to gamble, take Cai Cai away now. I don't even have a word. Xianjun and the company are in a state of panic. I have a bad conscience. If I really have a bad conscience, I would have left long ago. Why bother changing the script for the sake of the girl? Xianjun said, it wasn't they who broke their legs. Who are they doing this for? The screenwriter came over to say a fair word. We told Cai Cai that he is the supporting role of the second role, but it is very obvious what the role is. Just to protect the girl, we can only say the second role. As the director watched Mei Zhang's expression ease, he quickly took advantage of the heat and said, this is just a gamble. If you win, the name Cai Cai will be officially written in the history of film. If you lose, it can also be considered written in the history of film. Xianjun has always valued girls, and this is also a test for Cai Cai. Look, girls have the determination to gamble. As a lifelong agent, why are you cowardly? You must advance and retreat together. Mei Zhang rolled her eyes and said, she's willing to go out and do anything. Can I do it? With a child in my hands and the Tang family watching over her, do you know how much pressure I have? If Cai Cai doesn't succeed, she waved her hand and saw that Cai Cai had already excitedly booked a seat. That's it. Anyway, the Immortal Lord is still here, and even when the sky falls, there will be Immortal Lord standing up. As long as my family, Cai Cai, plays well, there will be good roles in bad movies. You are really sad. However, upon hearing the name of the Tang family, the director and his team dared not joke anymore and quickly went to work. Cai Cai has already finished setting her makeup before. The director looked at it and felt that there were still a few sets that could be used, but what needed to be added was the makeup and hair styling for ordinary women after becoming immortals through cultivation in the later stage. Calling Cai Cai, who was still excited, he couldn't help but laugh and cry. Don't worry, let you take pictures, let you take pictures. Otherwise, the immortal lord values him, he's also a drama enthusiast. You go with the makeup team first, set up the makeup and hair for the character in the later stage, and I will prepare a scene for this design. Once you have finished the makeup, you can directly shoot it. They have a total of 4 filming teams for this play. 2 of them are dedicated to shooting distant scenes, and the characters are all stunt doubles. This is to speed up the post-production special effects and not waste time. The other group is on Xianjun's side and has already been photographed. However, there are actually 2 groups of people on Xianjun's side filming. On Cai Cai's side, as it was the company's big shot and the first time filming, the director personally came over to watch and also brought 2 groups of people. If Cai Cai falls off the chain, be prepared to take action later. After all, Cai Cai has a natural talent for acting, and this is also her first formal filming. It's still on the big screen, and the director has no confidence in it. Not only the director has no background, but also the makeup team leader has no background. She tried several makeup and hairstyles, not to mention the director, she couldn't even look at them. But I still sent the photo to the director and went back to Cai Cai's side to have her wig removed. Does the scalp hurt? Cai Cai's hair was a bit naturally curly, but the strands were very soft and difficult to comb. To dress up as a fairy, one needs to comb her hair into a bun. Her hair is a bit short, so she can only wear a wig. Cai Cai grinned as he was pulled, but still said it didn't hurt. The makeup artist asked her assistant to massage her scalp, then sat down and waited for the director to come over. Cai Cai was groaning and groaning under the pressure, but was not comforted. I can't dress up well, he said. The makeup artist waved his hand and said, it's not your problem. Let's talk about it when the director and screenwriter come back. As long as the actors cooperate seriously, anything that happens is not their problem. The director and they came quickly. Mainly because seeing the new styling of makeup and hair is too shocking. How could this be? The director's heart was about to break. How could this be filmed? Although Cai Cai is 12 years old, in reality she looks like a ball of tender flesh, with a surprisingly clear and beautiful expression in her eyes. I don't know how bad her personality is. She is considered innocent and pure like an angel, and many people believe her when she is 8 or 9 years old. This kind of appearance, with a regular lens that has filters, looks okay. Originally, she looked like she had her beauty on. But when it comes to the movie scene, the problem becomes bigger. Movie shots will magnify any features of the characters. Cai Cai usually looks at a childish atmosphere, which becomes even more serious when he is on camera. Even if a fairy is a little girl, she cannot be a milk doll. The screenwriter is also a bit overwhelmed. I have imagined Cai Cai's stunning appearance as a fairy in the shape of a flying sky. I have completely overthinked it. If other 12-year-old girls dress up, they can at least tell the audience that I am a minor playing the role of a fairy. When Cai Cai dresses up, it's like a fairy who is full and wearing the wrong clothes. Disgusting. What should I do? The director took a deep breath and said, give me a red dot, I'll take a look. The makeup artist kept her mouth tightly closed, but now she heard the instructions and quickly poked a red dot on Cai Cai's forehead with lipstick. The director gestured for Cai Cai to stand up, spin around, and then instructed the hairstylist to use her own hair to comb Cai Cai into a bun. Cai Cai became nervous. If she were to be replaced again because she was not suitable for the role, she would really have no way to make a fuss. Find any red clothes and wrap them around. The director stood behind the camera and asked Cai Cai to turn his back to look back at the camera. Change it to a pink one. After Cai Cai, he changed to yellow, white, cyan, and black. In the end, the director chose black and said, the clothes need to be redone, and the colors are black and gold. Yellow is not enough, it must be gold. The reference style is this. He showed the clothing team leader a set of pictures, which were armor. The members of the fashion group all felt that the director had broken the can. But for their play, the director speaks for themselves, and it was custom-made for Cai Cai. The costume team didn't say a word and turned around to work hard. The director wasn't in a hurry to shoot anymore, pulling Cai Cai and coaxing her, "Don't worry, let's shoot well, we can definitely shoot well. But let's talk about something else first, why didn't you want to be a child star back then?" At the age of 10, although being a child star is too big, with Cai Cai's appearance and company support, there is no problem at all. If I don't want it, I just don't want it. I used to be a child star until I died, which was already enough. Cai Cai deliberately answered with some impatience. Afraid that the little demon star might get angry, the director waved his hand and didn't dare to ask, "So let's talk about this problem now. You can see that when you play TV dramas, you don't have a big problem, just making the actors look older and older. But when you play movies, if it's not for children's roles, you can't even get through makeup. This is just the current problem. What about in the future? When you're 14 or 15 years old, you'll still be bullied by the camera and can't play the role you should play. And when you're old and can play, other little girls will stand up. Who will still use you?" Cai Cai covered his heart and said, "You don't consider yourself an outsider, do you? As for being so direct." End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Supplementary Shooting. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 6 Supplementary Shooting. The director sighed, "To be honest with you, the company plans to let you continue to play on the big screen. In the lower part of the show, it really wants you to play with Xianjun. But in the camera, Xianjun doesn't look like your brother or like your father. Do you think Xianjun will be willing to use you? Even if he holds you, he won't bring himself into trouble. Timing is timing. If you miss it, you may never get up again. In this circle, there are always those who are younger than you and more suitable than you. They are better at acting than you. Let's be down to earth, act seriously, and use acting skills to make up for the shortcomings in appearance, okay? In other words, I still have no confidence in my heart. I want Cai Cai to work hard, otherwise not only will he be ruined, but the movie will also be ruined, and Cai Cai will not be much better." For the first time in his 2 lives, Cai Cai heard someone say that his appearance was not good enough. Take a deep breath and say, "Isn't it my fault to look small? When I'm in my 50s and 20s, I have to tell you the truth. Although I know the director is telling the truth, I still feel unhappy. If we fail in this play, I'm not sure if we can live until you're 50. The director exaggerated and pretended to wipe away his tears. There are so many plays. Cai Cai gambled that even if he slapped the table, he would perform this play well. The idea is good, but reality cannot make you think beautifully. Are you too fat? During the filming, the director called out to Ka and pointed to Cai Cai's belly. What did you eat for lunch? In the camera, the belly was even rounder than the head. Cai Cai has never suffered such a personal attack before. This is milk fat. Milk fat. Do you understand? The director was speechless. You're already in junior high school, and the fat on your face is still considered baby fat. But this belly, you told me it's milk fat. Are you guilty or not? With a sigh, Cai Cai came over and flipped through the script. You've also seen your character, Xiaoying. Your hometown was ravaged by monsters and your family fled. Your parents sold you as human flesh, and you narrowly escaped death. You're as skinny as a stick, and you can't have all the fat on camera, can you? If I were to have all the close-up shots on your face, outsiders wouldn't be able to tell what kind of camera language it was, but insiders would suspect that you have a physical defect and even wonder if you have any physical problems. Take a look at the actors on the screen, but for those who are good actors and superstars, who are not full-body shots, only those who shoot faces and heads, either their physical acting skills are not good or their physical defects are severe. Can you start being a big head actor from now on? Cai Cai was depressed and said, what should I do? I'm already quite thin, and I'm not really fat. I can't do anything about milk fat. After she aspired to become an actress, her aunt hired a dedicated nutritionist to make a recipe for her, changing it every month and making changes based on the results of her physical examination, so she really isn't fat. She simply grew up late, so now she is still a childish and full of milk fat. The director wanted Cai Cai to eat less and starve for 2 or 3 days, but if he really wanted to do so, he probably would have to pack up and leave. Now, as a director, he is not as important as Cai Cai. The words rolled around in my mouth and then I gave up. I have no choice but to bring in the screenwriter. It's time to change the script. Remove all the scenes of starving and suffering that seem like crying out loud. After all, milk and fat cannot be shed. The village was submerged by the rising water of the fish monster in the river. Xiaoying was originally picking up firewood on the mountain, but when she turned around and looked up, she saw the rushing flood in the sky. She was stunned, her eyes reflecting the muddy yellow flood, and instinctively took a step back. Then, suddenly I thought of my mother and younger brother at home, as well as my father in the field. His eyes were wide open, his mouth slightly opened, and he unconsciously threw away the firewood in his hand, rushing towards the flood like a madman, but it's still a lot slower. Xiaoying pounced into the flood, mud and sand squeezing into her eyes, ears, throat. In a daze, Xiaoying seemed to have seen her brother's little shoe just as Xiaoying felt mud and sand under her tongue. A fairy descending from the sky grabbed her collar and lifted her out of the mud and sand flood. All right. It's over. The director clapped his hands. It was really great, truly a child who was rewarded by heaven for food. He acted so well in the act of falling into the water without any physical object. It's not that he doesn't want his child to be submerged in water, but that the flood is the highlight of the movie, and special effects need to be done, so the scene is like a small bathtub, just let Cai Cai splash inside. But for mud and sand, it requires realism and can only rely on makeup. Cai Cai's mouth full of mud and sand is actually chocolate. She has been filming this scene for 3 days and only ate it for 3 days. Absolutely work-related injury. The sediment in her eyes is a special pigment that is non-toxic, but Cai Cai's eyes have turned yellow. When the director shouted to stop, the makeup artist quickly came over to wash her eyes. Mei Zhang has been standing outside the field for the past 3 days, frowning all the time. Cai Cai is too hardworking. She's only 12 years old. If she continues to work hard like this, it's hard to say whether her career in the entertainment industry will last long or not. The mud in her ears is made of cotton, and Cai Cai sat obediently, waiting for the makeup artist to take it out for her. Her eyes had already been washed and there was no discomfort. She knew Mei Zhang was in a bad mood, but she felt that if she wanted to be a good actress, she would definitely have to endure hardship. She was already taken care of very much, and if she couldn't even bear this hardship, what else would she talk about in the future? Cai Cai, here, a close-up shot of Xiaoying running towards the flood is needed. The assistant director came over. Cai Cai blinked. Uncle, I've taken off all my makeup. The makeup artist also glared at the assistant director with a slanted eye. What are you doing? The assistant director scratched his head and said, that's what the director just said. I don't know what's going on. Cai Cai remembers that after putting on her makeup, the first thing she took was a close-up shot, in order to maintain the integrity of her makeup and avoid unexpected makeup effects in the later stages. And the close-up shots are taken from 3 or 4 different positions simultaneously, so there is no possibility of missing them. Cai Cai wanted to ask the director, but after looking around, she didn't see the director. With a sigh in her heart, she could only ask the makeup artist to put on her makeup again. Fortunately, it's not muddy makeup, otherwise it would be even more troublesome. What she wants to wear is village-made makeup. The makeup artist flipped out the set-up photos of the scene and compared them to the well-dressed ones. Cai Cai also changed into the costumes, but found a big tear in the lower left leg of the costumes. The production manager had a dirty expression on his face, and the costume designer personally sewed it with a needle and thread. When you're ready to turn around, go find the custodian and make a fuss. Xiaoying rushed towards the flood at all costs, but there was no flood at the scene. It was just a thick cushion, naturally green. Cai Cai stood in the designated position, waiting for the lighting engineer to dim the light. There was a green screen around, and the special effects team looked at the camera for a long time, making the lighting engineer impatient. In order to prevent the actor's face from shining green, lighting is particularly important. Cai Cai felt like he was going blind. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Harming her. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Harming her. Cover your eyes and wait, finally hear the scene taking photos and shouting to prepare. 123, let's go. After taking a deep breath, Cai Cai instantly found the mood of Xiaoying when she saw the flood, and her eyes changed. Then, the body became somewhat stiff, starting with the shoulders, followed by the waist, followed by the knees, legs, and feet, in order to demonstrate Xiaoying's subconscious action and thinking after being scared and dumbfounded. Even if scared silly, I still want to go back regardless of everything. Although he was very scared, he still ran out. The brain is the last to move. Quickly running to the mat, Cai Cai's eyes were in place, his head slightly shrunk, one hand blocking in front of him, and the other hand bent forward with his elbow. This is an action to combat floods. While performing this full body movement, it is also important to keep your face facing the camera, allowing your expression to be fully captured by the camera. After staring at the camera, Cai Cai forcefully threw his body out. It looked like she was throwing herself, but in fact, she threw herself out. Just as Cai Cai hit the mat, an accident suddenly occurred. On the cushion less than 3 centimeters away from Cai Cai's face, a row of sharp silver blades were inserted. Cai Cai was frightened by the cold light of the blade and didn't care to continue filming. He rolled aside and his heart was pounding, almost jumping out of his mouth. Only the cameraman noticed something was wrong, and when the camera turned to him, he also saw the shining blades. The burly cameraman immediately called out. Cai Cai sat up with a rolling and crawling motion, propping herself up and moving backwards. Fortunately, she threw herself even harder this time, otherwise her whole face would have split in half. The sound of blades and blades kept coming and going, and the scene became noisy. Many people are coming over. Don't move, don't come over. Cai Cai's face turned pale, but he remained calm. She has encountered all sorts of bizarre things like wearing clothes, snatching houses, and reading books. She is not afraid of such sneaky methods. If the voice does not tremble, it will be more convincing. Mei Zhang rushed over and hugged Cai Cai tightly. How are you, girl? Are you okay? His heart was about to explode. Cai Cai patted him and said, Xiaomei, I'm fine. When she was a child, she was a bit slurred and followed her grandmother to call Mei Zhang Xiaomei, but always called her Xiaomei. Then Xiaomei has become Mei Zhang's nickname, and those close to him in the company call him Xiaomei, while Cai Cai doesn't call him much anymore. Now I felt Mei Zhang trembling, so I unconsciously shouted out. Mei Zhang's face is even worse than Cai Cai's. Turning my head to look at those blades, it's almost there. The director ran over gasping for breath at this moment. Just as he was about to speak, he saw the blade and took a deep breath of air conditioning. Damn it. The scene has been brought under control, no one has left. Screenwriter Aunt Dong Ku came over and touched Cai Cai's face. Call the police. The child is only 12 years old, who would have dealt such a harsh hand? The director reached out to say something, but Dong Ku holds a vice president position in the company, and his position is much higher than him. His words are more effective than his. So even if someone in the company is unhappy about them reporting to the police later, they won't hold him accountable, right? Cai Cai's face improved a lot and he turned to comfort Dong Ku with a few words. Dong Ku touched Cai Cai again and turned to ask the director, where have you been? The director was dumbfounded and said, "Do you doubt me?" Even if Fang Jigang borrowed the courage from the heavens, he dared not do such a thing. Dong Ku held down Mei Zhang and said, "I'm not suspecting you, I'm asking you where you went." Fang Jigang was taken aback for a moment. "Someone informed me that the actors for the next scene were missing, as if someone had taken them away. I'm worried about something, so I'll go and take a look." This is the largest filming base in China, with people coming and going, and everyone is there. Although their production team is closed for filming, it is not absolutely safe. If there is an actor being taken away from the crew, it would be a big scandal. Unexpectedly, the actor was not taken away and the baby egg at home almost had an accident. Who? Dong Ku is a screenwriter who has been writing for over 20 years and has become famous for her numerous works, so she has a strong writing mindset. Fang Jigang was taken aback again, "I haven't seen it yet," and then realized that Dong Ku wasn't asking about the person who was taken away. "It's a male assistant with a work permit," and so on. "What do you mean by asking me these questions? Someone came to me before, saying you wanted to change the script and let me go back to the hotel. I didn't go back to the hotel, so I came here to find you. The assistant director said you weren't there, and then the assistant director said you asked him to find Cai Cai to make up for this shot." Dong Ku recalled, "I looked familiar, so I should be from our company." The director's scalp tingled and he said, "I didn't have it. Cai Cai did a great job in filming, everything passed, I even made the guaranteed ones." Cai Cai's scalp is also a bit tingling. "Good guy, he's looping around one by one. The person who handles the blade knows that the girl will fall here. So these days, they must have been there all along. They also know that you are utilitarian and don't want any negative news, which is why they can deceive you. They know more about the character of the deputy director, and use your words as a decree. Even if it's not what you said personally, as long as someone tells them it's what you said, they have no doubt, let alone that this person is still a member of the company. At the same time, I also understand the professional dedication of the girl and know that she will definitely agree to remake and make sure she does as well as before." Dong Ku hugged Cai Cai and said, "But I missed out on it. Also, the dedication of the girl, she will only take better photos." Fang Jigang and the deputy director who came to apologize were both shamelessly exposed by Dong Ku. Mei Zhang hated Fang Jigang to death. "You were originally involved in nepotism. If it weren't for Xianjun and Gu Sheng, this kind of special effects drama wouldn't have used you. The company also saw that you were careful, so they trusted to hand over the girl to you. You were very good, and from the beginning, you were playing tricks on the girl, using her as a beast to manipulate her. I hate my daughter for praising you for being serious and responsible. You are really not a person. If I had known, I would have taken the girl away from the beginning, and it wouldn't have happened like this now. I tell you, if a girl has any good intentions, I will depose you." Cai Cai grabbed Mei Zhang and said, "All right, all of us are our own people. Why are we still picking on each other? This is clearly the fault of bad people. The director's caution is not wrong, and the deputy director's obedience is not wrong. It's all bad people playing with people's hearts. How could it be our fault?" Upon hearing these words, Fang Jigang felt even more ashamed and realized for the first time why so many people in the company cherished Cai Cai so much. "She is such a good child." Dong Ku saw the police coming and said, "The company's people are also coming. Calm down and talk to the police carefully." Cai Cai was curious about the police's investigation and followed behind, occasionally asking a question. A young police officer was a bit funny and asked Cai Cai if he was afraid. Cai Cai became angry and said, "Evil does not overpower righteousness. I am a top-notch good person who can always turn misfortune into good. Why should I be afraid? Only bad people, those with evil intentions who are neither human nor ghost, will be afraid." End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Bad Guys. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Bad Guys. A few police officers were stunned for a moment, all laughing. "Good kid. Later, when they returned to the office and found information about Cai Cai, they became even more aware of how strong and outgoing she was. The police took Fang Jigang, the deputy director, and 4 or 5 others away. But the male assistant who was looking for Fang Jigang and the employee who was looking for Dong Ko were nowhere to be found. If such a thing happens, the drama will definitely not be filmed. Cai Cai is a bit depressed and not very happy even playing games in the room. The family took turns playing videos over and once again asked her to give up acting. Cai Cai got angry and tossed around with them for a while, and then she felt a bit hungry. Throwing away the game console, I was about to find something to eat when I smelled the aroma of hot pot. When I opened the door and came out, I found that Zhang Xianjun, his agent Gu Sheng Mei Zhang were setting the table outside the living room. In the middle of the table, a large double-dot flavor hot pot was boiling with delicious soup. Well, I'm an emo, but the 3 of you are ordering hot pot without me, come here, still waiting for me to treat you, Mei Zhang urged her. What seasoning should I have? Cai Cai grunted and climbed onto the chair, no peanut chips. They are in the south, so it is not easy to make up fermented bean curd and leek flour paste. Gu Sheng had always been very fond of Cai Cai, and she almost killed Zhang Xianjun without showing any grandeur. Turning around, I picked up a packet of drunkard peanuts, crushed them, and put them in a bowl for her. The child has suffered a great deal of injustice, and wanting to eat some peanuts is nothing. Zhang Xianjun couldn't stand the way they coaxed the child with their dog legs, but he didn't say anything. After all, he never dreamed that when he first started filming, Cai Cai would encounter such a thing. Even if someone joins in to prevent explosions, they still face the threat of bodily harm. The child doesn't seem scared, but it's hard to say if there's any psychological shadow. Do you need to find psychological counseling for you? Zhang Xianjun asked directly. There's no need to beat around the bush with this child. The company invited him over because they knew that Cai Cai treated him differently and could handle this matter better. Cai Cai glared and poked his chopsticks in anger. You look down on people, don't you? Looking at people in the crack of the door, you've looked down on me. Can I be afraid of this? Auntie, I didn't even say a word when I had a hole in my head. If it were during the anti-Japanese war, I would probably be the most secretive hero. What kind of tiger stool with chili water, you wouldn't be afraid. Zhang Xianjun sneered and picked up a chopstick of lamb for her. Let's eat it. He closed his mouth. Knowing that Cai Cai loves to eat lamb the most, they ordered various parts and all of them were eaten by Cai Cai first. Seeing that none of them wanted to talk about the blade, Cai Cai did not reveal her suspicion that it was area. In the eyes of adults, minors need to be protected and kept away from all negative news. Cai Cai is considerate of this kind of care, but also a bit pouting. She is definitely not the only one who doubts area. Your Excellency is truly hypocritical. Half a young man eats a poor old man. It makes sense for Fang Jigang to want to starve Cai Cai for 2 days. She killed over 2 pounds of lamb alone. We talked about a meal and ate it for 3 hours. When Cai Cai is about to step down, the company's legal department will come over and inform the police of the outcome of the handling. It was the wealthy second generation who had come to the company for an interview before, but was not signed. Now, he is investing in this drama with area, and Moon Yanyan's assistant bought the substitute of the Immortal Lord and 2 props on the set. The police are really efficient. Returning to Moon Yanyan's assistant, this is clearly Moon Yanyan. Cai Cai squinted her eyes. Oh, it was her. She was about to forget that she had already transformed into a wealthy second generation, and Moon Yan, who was ruthless and indifferent, had a bigger grudge against her compared to the lonely and wild ghost of area. But that exists between area and Moon Yanyan, not between Cai Cai and Mu every year. Why? She didn't sign up for the company and went to work as an idol, nor did she become an actress. She had no grievances or grudges with me. Cai Cai didn't understand. Also, the stunt double always talks and laughs with me. How could he do such a thing? Xianjun was in another group, and we didn't have a direct face-to-face interaction, so they both used stunt doubles to shoot separately. The project almost collapsed before, and the stunt double was crying. She even gave him candy to comfort him. I've been filming with him these past few days, isn't it too double-sided? According to his account, he was allowed to play other roles, and he believed it was all because you changed the script, making him only a substitute. The legal officer flipped through the materials and answered Cai Cai. Cai Cai took a deep breath. She was so wronged. She doesn't have the ability to make him a regular actor instead of a stunt double. Without waiting for anyone else to comfort him, Cai Cai adjusted himself and said, "Forget it, silly people are everywhere. This kind of person, if you don't find problems with yourself, you can't find the target you want, you blame others." He filmed the scene where he pulled me up from the flood 7 or 8 times. At first, he secretly filmed glitter on his own hand, but the camera exploded. Later, he had no energy in his hands and couldn't pick me up. In the end, I said he hung pressure on me without his help, but he couldn't find the rhythm several times, and the pressure didn't move. It took him half a day to finish filming smoothly. Her armpits are still painful. I managed to hold on to 60 pounds. He's an adult man in his 20s, he can't even make a pull-up gesture, and he even jokes about me being too fat. I wanted to scold him for being a bean sprout, but I didn't feel embarrassed. If I come across such an ignorant bean sprout again in the future, I will definitely blame him for not being able to find the north. Mei Zhang deserved to scold her. At that time, he had already called for a halt. It was Cai Cai who insisted on accommodating that kid to finish filming. Cai Cai didn't expect that when he first stepped down, his excited face would always turn red. She already has her own dream of being an actress, how could she be indifferent to the sincerity of others as actors? Although she couldn't let him not be a substitute, she could also replace him in just one sentence. It was too easy to cut off his path, and Cai Cai couldn't bear it. Who would have thought, the farmer and the snake? Silly. Cai Cai bounced in place several times and said, "I hope he will be a substitute for the rest of his life, and he won't become famous in this lifetime." Gu Xing laughed and coaxed her to sit still, thinking to himself that this mediocre entertainment career has come to an end today. Not to mention being a stunt double, picking up trash on set is useless. This brings back the case, even if changing industries, this personality and character will not be much better. The legal representative looked at Cai Cai with a smile and continued, "The legal team on Moon Yen Yen's side hopes that we can issue a letter of understanding. This matter will be recognized by Assistant Moon Yen Yen, and there is nothing the police can do about it. The specific handling will still follow legal procedures. We can find a way to bring Moon Yen in, and she will not be completely involved. What is written as fabricated is truly fabricated, and the entire text is fictional. All laws and regulations in reality shall prevail. If we have any problems, please contact the police and abide by the law. Thank you." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Immortal Lord. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Immortal Lord Zhang Xianjun spoke up at this moment and said, "I remember that Moon Yen and Arya were both children from the kidnapping case back then. Arya has a grudge against you, and Moon Yen has a grudge against you too." Cai Cai shook her head and said, "I don't know. Moon Yen and I don't have any grudges. However, I fell into a coma all the way and was injured by Arya, causing my head to break and I can't remember anything. Maybe there's a grudge. Moon Yen couldn't know who she was. More than half, it's better to be explosion.proof. Or maybe you heard what Arya said. Anyway, Arya is the worst. Moon Yen is pure malice, Arya is both poisonous and bad. So Moon Yen did such a foolish thing, she was not surprised at all, it was too normal. She has always been a villain who benefits herself at the expense of others." Zhang Xianjun was too lazy to pay attention to her child's words. After thinking for a moment, he told the legal department, a letter of understanding can be written, and the company can draft an agreement that requires people on Moon Yanyan's side to never stand on the same stage or in the same situation as Cai Cai. Once the agreement is violated, everything today will be exposed, including the kidnapping case from that year. Rich heirs, in order to protect themselves, help traffickers kidnap children, which is not a small matter. At first, the Mu family lost money, and Moon Yanyan knelt down to apologize and admit her mistake, because she was underage and only reluctantly gained forgiveness out of self-protection. But there is a record of this matter in the case file, and she can't rely on it. Speaking of which, Mu kidnapped 2 girls every year, one of whom died, and the other was Arya. At that time, Arya asked for the most money, and I thought she hated her so much. Who would have thought? So they teamed up. Zhang Xianjun is really disgusted by these 15 or 16 little girls. Despite being at the best age, he doesn't do anything good and is ruthless. It's really poisonous and bad. Upon hearing Zhang Xianjun's words, Cai Cai suddenly felt a bit uncomfortable. Moon Yanyan is Moon Yanyan. It was also Moon Yanyan who helped the traffickers kidnap and deceive. The one who died is the true body of Moon Yanyan, or the soul of the wealthy daughter Mu every year. I don't know what kind of demon is causing trouble. Moon Yanyan took away Moon Yanyan's body, abandoned the evil life of the children of human traffickers, and transformed into a wealthy second generation. Poor real Moon Yanyan, I don't know if he is alive or dead. If he could be like himself and be reincarnated to another world after death, it would be great. Cai Cai silently prayed again in his heart, hoping that the true Mu could be well every year. Sensing Cai Cai's depression and suppression, Zhang Xianjun regretted talking about the past. Cough for a moment, that's my suggestion. You can go back and talk to the company about the specific requirements. Anyway, just keep this kind of garbage away from Cai Cai. For the rest, let the company send 2 bodyguards. Cai Cai has already been noticed by too many people. Although it was not easy to achieve this, the human intermediary accurately bribed people and almost succeeded. In the future, it's uncertain what else will happen, so be cautious, and it's always a good thing. Cai Cai was indeed hooked by Zhang Xianjun's words, is the risk of being an actor so high? He thought the novels were all full of lies. No one has told her, and she has never encountered it either. Zhang Xianjun and the legal department went out before answering. I really want to tell you that this kind of thing is actually rare, but it still exists. The point is that people who have malicious intentions towards you actually dare not do anything to you, so who can escape the shackles of fame and fortune when they look for others? Human nature is complex and cannot withstand contemplation. How to say it, when I first got the Best Actor, I was 15 years old. Everyone called me Purple Star, and wherever I went, there were applause from flowers and smiling faces. Everyone looked like good people. But I also drank water infused with sulfuric acid, the blades in my pillow, the hairdresser intentionally cut my face, the costume designer secretly took indecent photos, various cursed little people, poisonous spiders and insects in my bouquet, and so on. These are all light things. If you don't be an actor, you may also encounter them, otherwise where would Xia Xiyu not kill me? After all, these are all obvious malicious intentions, and they usually don't matter to me. What I'm most afraid of is the kind of malice that I have to accept even though I know it's harming me. Cai Cai was momentarily stunned upon hearing this, knowing it was a murder, yet still willing to accept it. Zhang Xianjun suddenly felt that this incident happened quite coincidentally and could teach Cai Cai a lesson. The last lesson in life, whether as an actor or not, is the one that should not be taught, but the one that needs to be taught the most. You want to act well, experience diverse lives, and be a good actor, right? Cai Cai nodded. Zhang Xianjun also nodded and pointed to herself, I also want to. So when I wrote this sentence all over my face, I was afraid that others wouldn't see my persistence and effort. I was afraid that I would miss any opportunity to act. I was afraid that others wouldn't consider me for not giving me a role. So, when a very famous director came to me with a well-written script, I was extremely happy. I couldn't wait to seize this opportunity, and regardless of everything, signed a contract and left with this director. That year, I was 2 months away from the age of 18. Fortunately, I wasn't 18 at the time. Xianjun. Mei Zhang and Gu Sheng spoke out simultaneously, neither hoping that Zhang Xianjun would tell Cai Cai about this matter. But Zhang Xianjun did not stop. The director took me to a foreign filming base and made me undress for the first scene. It turned out that he was going to shoot a thrilling film and go to a foreign film festival to win awards. Everyone in the industry knew about this, but no one told me or reminded me. At that time, I was all focused on acting and didn't care about anything else, like a closed and crazy fool. Cai Cai looked at Zhang Xianjun incredulously. If it weren't for what he said personally, she wouldn't believe it at all. The Zhang family, who came from a century-old wealthy family and looked so beautiful that they descended to the mortal world, surprisingly encountered such disgusting things. I didn't have any communication tools and had no way to seek help. I endured filming for 3 days and then promised a large sum of money to have an actor on set help me contact Gu Sheng. Cai Cai swallowed and foamed, and then what? Zhang Xianjun didn't answer directly. Actually, when I signed the contract, I realized something was wrong. There were too many confidentiality clauses. But I really wanted to challenge different roles and act, so I signed it. When I got on the plane, I also wanted to leave several times, but I still followed him. I thought I could bear any malice, I thought I could dedicate everything for acting, but the fact proved that I couldn't. Remember, people have self-awareness. We are ordinary people, not gods, no matter how others hold you. We won't be invincible just because we have lofty goals. The director was later sent to prison by me and has now been released. The original version of the footage was only kept by me, and everything else was destroyed. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Top Tasks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Top Tasks. Zhang Xianjun finished speaking with ease and sighed. Actually, this was also a very meaningful experience. Later on, I let go of everything I played. You are even more optimistic than me. Cai Cai felt that if it were him, he would have the heart to kill. Instruct Cai Cai to calm down a bit, the company will handle this matter for her and wait for the result. After Zhang Xianjun finished explaining, he looked again and saw that Cai Cai really didn't need psychological counseling, so he left. Mei Zhang hesitated for a moment before telling Cai Cai the name of the director before going to bed. After listening, Cai Cai couldn't close her eyes for a long time. This director is the biological father of area. Setting aside his own affairs, Cai Cai finally realized how much Xianjun had put in and eaten for this drama, and those 3 billion yuan. People have self-awareness, Cai Cai said the next day while having breakfast, his eyes fixed, and he kept repeating this sentence. I suddenly felt that the Immortal Lord had said a lot of incredible things yesterday. Assistant Fang Qiao gave Cai Cai a mouthful of scrambled eggs and was puzzled when she kept muttering these words. The Cai family has been offering her a high salary to accompany Cai Cai for over 2 years. At first, Fang Qiao just wanted to make a transition, but now he is focused on following Cai Cai in this circle and making a career. She is a small assistant to the outside world, but the company knows that she was trained as the second agent around Cai Cai, and she has already signed a talent contract with the company. Yesterday was the police station she went to. Another thing, everyone knows that Zhang Xianjun doesn't like the presence of opposite sexes in the same space. When he comes to find Cai Cai, he always finds reasons to invite her out. At first, Fang Qiao's heart was shattered. Xianjun is really a very strange person in private. So yesterday Xianjun and the others came over, and even if she had already returned, she did not come in. I didn't hear what the Immortal Lord had taught Cai Cai again. But now hearing Cai Cai say this, Fang Qiao thought that the Immortal Lord had taught Cai Cai a lesson this time. What are these words? Even if you have the Immortal Lord filter, you can't talk to my daughter like this. Girls have always had a temper of wanting to go out horizontally, and they are the most mischievous. Teach her to have self-awareness. What is this trying to do? Are you using outsiders to suppress her daughter? Not all adults' words are right either. The Immortal Lord is also a human being. Whatever he says, just listen to it casually. Cai Cai took a sip of milk and said, how could Xianjun be a human? Absolutely divine. He can even eat shit continuously. How can a person do this? Feng Qiao, put down the spoon and you can eat it yourself. I see that the Immortal Lord was really kind when he didn't beat you. Cai Cai dared not speak up about his eating of feces without the permission of Xianjun. He could only hold back and hold Feng Qiao in agony, constantly sighing. Xianjun is really not an ordinary person, jumping into a dung pit to eat feces. When Mei Zhang came in, Feng Qiao reluctantly pulled Cai Cai, who looked like an octopus, off his body. What's going on? Have you finished eating? Let's go shoot. The emperor didn't rush to die as a eunuch. The Tang family is in a frenzy, the company is also in chaos, and the ladies at home are worried that they can't sleep. He has also been busy all night, but this broken child is still eating happily and having fun. A broken child. Cai Cai made a face at him, changed his clothes, and rushed to the set. I clearly feel that the atmosphere on set has changed. Previously, I was in a relaxed state, but now I am very tense. There are many newcomers here, and they look a bit familiar. They should all be employees of the company. Seeing Cai Cai saying hello, Cai Cai quickly responded with a grin. Until Dong Ku pulled her to the dressing room. Do you see the problem? I'm here to be an actor, and I almost became a criminal case. Do I still need to do decryption work? Oh, yes, we also need to be educated. Cai Cai scratched his head and said, is the atmosphere bad? Good child. Dong Ku nodded and said, Fang Jigang has a small heart and is a bit disheartened. Several of the people who came to the company were substitutes, and with a desire to gloat and watch good games, he had several arguments with the original staff in the morning. The makeup artist sat still lazily, confirming that Cai Cai was really okay and feeling a little relieved. The company has put a lot of pressure on me. The filming progress needs to be accelerated, but now it's like this, I'm afraid we might get caught up in a fight. Yesterday's incident didn't go public, but there were also faint rumors online. I feel a bit uncomfortable now. Who knows if those people outside are people or ghosts? Good guy, it's really not enough. Cai Cai was dumbfounded. She, who was almost disfigured, didn't even feel so sad. Why is everyone so sad? Sister, sister, my good sister, Cai Cai hugged the makeup artist and comforted her. We are human beings. We live just to eat, drink, and dress well. Do we live just to eat shit? Similarly, there are quite a few bad people, but there are also many good people. Even if half of the people in the world are bad, there are still half who are good. How much is this half? Over 3 billion. Over 3 billion. With so many good people, we will always encounter a few, right? Although it took her half a year to figure out this truth, did she actually figure it out? If she only wants revenge, then she has let down this great life. So even if she knew that Mu Nian Nian was still ruthless and wanted to take action against this innocent person, she didn't care. She doesn't expect that scumbag to live. Moreover, she now has a lot of people who love and support Cai Cai. Who's afraid of who? It's none of her turn to take action, and Mu cried every year. You deserve it. I'll use the blade to scare her and retaliate when I find a chance. In the future, makeup artists are almost 40 years old, and being a mother to Cai Cai is more than enough. However, they are still affectionately called sister and coaxed and loved by little angels. Oh my, life is for you. Hold on to Cai Cai tightly and kiss non-stop. She has been on set for so many years, and has actually seen many, many demons and monsters. But it seems like yesterday, it was the first time she had seen a 12-year-old, angelic little girl do such a thing. It's really a bit difficult not to lose heart. In human nature, people always hold great or even greatest goodwill towards children, especially little girls. Even the worst villains in movies rarely play roles that harm little girls. Most of them are adaptations of real events or simply trying to shape a very bad demon character. That is to say, even the most talkative screenwriters wouldn't want to write about a bad person who harms a little girl. Can you imagine how bad yesterday was? What a great harm it is to Cai Cai. But the little angel is the little angel, cheerful and lovely to the point of explosion. Although I am the victim, I still want to comfort others. Oh my, it seems like I stole it and brought it home. End of this chapter.